to Kentucky. It's an industry filled with amazing leaders. It's an industry that brings joy to families across the world and across Kentucky, including my own. But it also brings good jobs. It boosts our economy, and it supports our local communities. We're not looking at the same Kentucky anymore. Thanks to the work of everyone here, we're welcoming people to our new Kentucky home, one filled with opportunity and prosperity. Kentucky is on that biggest economic winning streak we've ever been on. And today, we get to announce that the numbers are in, and 2023 was officially the best year in Kentucky's history for tourism's economic impact. From our strong bourbon distilleries to our small business owners who are investing in Kentucky, to our hotel clerks and our staffs at attraction and restaurants, this success is your success. Y'all are the people welcoming these travelers into our state, and you are helping them create unforgettable memories and keep them coming back to the Commonwealth. So I want to say thank you. From going to work, driving your children to school or church, or going to see loved ones, Kentuckians deserve to get there and back home safely. This monumental project, four-laning the Mountain Parkway, a decades-old project that some said was impossible, but we're getting the job done. Because when we make a promise to the people of Kentucky, we see it through. That's the right thing to do. What we're doing here is making intra-generational change. Change that will reverberate through the decades. At the end of the day, I think that's why all of us in government do these jobs. We want to look back and say we changed our community. We created more opportunity for every single family that's out there, regardless of their politics, regardless of where they live. We have a chance to do special things, to push out all that noise and to say, how fast can we sprint forward together? How can we think about things differently to provide for our people? How we can bring more prosperity that our families will see for decades to come. So let's keep after it. Let's not rest for a minute and make sure that everybody is a part of the prosperity to come. Our parks have something for everyone. Hiking, history, golf, fishing, boating, caving, watching wildlife, or relaxing by the marina or at the pool. Our state parks are treasures and are truly the finest in the country. And today, we celebrate 100 years of our parks offering unforgettable experiences to families near and far. So to everybody who's joined us today, happy 100th anniversary. All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. We'll start where we always start, with Kentucky's red-hot economy. We are continuing to reintroduce ourselves to the world as our new Kentucky home, a destination where business and speed to market are fast, but the pace of life is just right. That's something a lot of businesses and families are looking for when they're looking for a place to call their home. And we're going to work together to make sure they know Kentucky is the best choice through this new comprehensive marketing initiative. Through consistent messaging and marketing, we're inviting others to join us by moving their family, by moving their business to their new Kentucky home, or making Kentucky the place they visit, seeing what is going on at our Kentucky home. Since I took office, we've now announced more than 1,000 private sector new location or expansion projects totaling nearly $34 billion in announced investments. We've now announced projects creating roughly 57,500 full-time jobs for our residents. So with this booming economy, reintroducing ourselves to the world, leaving stereotypes in the past and moving forward as an economic leader, this is our way to tell our success story, but also to continue this success by bringing in more talented members of our workforce, by bringing in that next group of jobs. And last week, we welcomed a massive new project, Shelbyville Battery Manufacturing, to its new Kentucky home. I joined leaders and local leaders and company executives at the governor's mansion to announce the largest economic development project in Shelby County history. The nearly $712 million project is going to create an amazing 1,572 good-paying Kentucky jobs. It is the third largest project for job creation during my time as governor and the fourth largest capital investment. This will be a state-of-the-art industrial battery manufacturing facility that is scheduled to begin by the end of 2025, meaning we are working fast and those jobs are going to come very, very quickly. Shelbyville Battery Manufacturing is joining Kentucky's new era of prosperity as our Commonwealth becomes a national economic leader. The Commonwealth is known around the globe for world-class bourbon, horse racing, and hospitality, but more and more, we're also being known for distribution and logistics, EV technology, and now the kind of advanced manufacturing that this company specializes in. This parent company, Canadian Solar, is the real deal. One of the world's biggest renewable energy companies that's out there, and this investment for us is a game changer. These will be 20-foot industrial storage batteries. They helped run the Super Bowl this last year, and they will help us to be able to store energy at a time when it's cheapest to make, and then push it out when it's most expensive to make. And ultimately, we hope solve that issue of when you create power, having to either use it or it's ultimately wasted on the grid. This is an incredibly exciting opportunity, and we've got a short video on the project.
It's a new day in Kentucky, a time full of hope and promise, where families are living good, happy lives and businesses are soaring. Kentuckians are the force behind our historic success, and we know the power of working together. We're ready to meet the challenges of today by seizing the opportunities of tomorrow. Opportunities like Shelbyville Battery Manufacturing's record investment. The $712 million investment is creating 1,572 great jobs and making history with the largest investment ever in Shelby County. This is the company that made history, powering the 2024 Super Bowl with renewable energy for the first time ever. So whether you're trying to power the big game or game nights for families across the world, we'll be working together to make those wins possible. Shelbyville Battery Manufacturing, welcome to your new Kentucky home.
It's an incredibly exciting announcement, and we're going to be working really hard to realize these jobs as quickly as possible. Companies like Shelbyville Battery Manufacturing would not be choosing the Commonwealth without our speed to market efforts, where we are able to not just tell people but ultimately show them that if they choose us, they will be up and operating faster than in any other state. That means we got to put in the work. It means our sites have to be in better shape when a company ultimately chooses us. That's what our product development initiative is all about. It's about investing in new locations, investing in purchasing new land, investing in getting utilities to the site, and investing in many instances in building pads, which takes away one of the longest or most difficult parts of locating a building. So on Tuesday, I joined local officials in Madison County to do the work, to cut the ribbon on the state's latest site development project, which will attract more good jobs to the Richmond area. The new site, located in the Richmond Industrial Park South 3, adds to the state's growing list of properties certified as build ready. You could feel the optimism in the air and, of course, the rain that day as the folks in Madison County could see nearly 47 acres. They're going to have two very large building pads that are going to lead to new industries and jobs in their community and for their families. Projects like this are not possible without teamwork and the support of local and state officials. Thanks for working together to build a better Madison County. And this project is going to help locate some businesses to their new Kentucky home in Madison County and the Richmond area. Next up, we have some good news from our disaster recovery program. Kentucky was hit hard by the worst tornado disaster in our history at the end of 2021 and the worst flooding of my lifetime in July of 2022. We made a promise to keep working until every structure, every home, every business, and every life was rebuilt. And we've been showing up day in and day out and week in and week out to make sure we get the job done. So today we've got some good news. First, for Perry County, we're awarding $2.8 million to extend first-time sewer service along Highway 28. This was a hard-hit area during the floods. The site is currently served by septic systems which were damaged in the flooding. We're also awarding $9.8 million to extend first-time public sewer service to 200 homes around the Wendell Ford Airport area. This is where we've built a lot of new homes since the flooding. It's outside of the floodplain. We were able to start. I went to multiple homes where flooding victims had walked into their new Kentucky home, where their kids had picked out their new rooms. It's a growing and a thriving neighborhood. So we have a video from Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander about these two projects.
Hey, just a big shout out and thank you to the governor and Team Kentucky for the Chavies and the industrial park wastewater treatment expansion. This is such a critical need in an area that got devastated by the flooding. And we cannot thank the governor enough for all he's done up to this point and continuing to do to help us recover from that. So thank you, Governor, and thank you, Team Kentucky, for not forgetting East Kentucky.
Next up, we have some good news for the city of Bowling Green. We're awarding $3.8 million to replace a stormwater line on Chestnut Street. This means our people will be safer during heavy rains and it'll reduce the risk of future flooding. We have a video from the city of Bowling Green about this project.
I'm Matt Powell, Environmental Manager for the City of Bowling Green. Constructed in the 1970s, a 900-foot section of the Chestnut Street storm sewer system between 5th Street and 2nd Street has a structural deficiency that resulted in the system only being allowed to carry around 33% of its original design capacity. This funding will allow for a full reconstruction of the system that will eliminate a faulty pump station, improve the system's capacity, and reduce the potential for flooding in the neighborhood.
The last announcement is a big one. It's for the city of Jackson in Breathitt County. We're awarding $13 million to build a new wastewater treatment plant outside of the floodplain. The existing plant suffered major damage in the floods, so this will not only help in the operations of the system, but make sure if there is future flooding, that infrastructure is safe and ultimately will be able to operate and reduce risk. We're going to help them build a new plant protecting the city and the surrounding waterways. We're building a lot of new homes in Jackson as well, and this plant is going to help serve them. We have a video from a great mayor, Laura Thomas, who's worked so hard in the rebuilding effort.
Good morning, Governor Beshear, and good morning, Kentucky. I'm Mayor Laura Thomas, and I'm so excited today. I've just heard the news that the City of Jackson has been approved for $13 million in CDBG funding toward a new wastewater treatment facility. Our current sewer plant has outlived its lifespan. We've been putting Band-Aids on problems for years, and this project will allow us to get a new modern facility that's away from the floodplain, that is out of our commercial district, and that can serve new customers and new commercial customers, and it's just awesome news. I really want to thank everyone that's helped us with this. The Kentucky River Area Development District helped ride the project, and Commissioner Sawyer and his staff at DLG have just been wonderful to help with all of our projects. So thank you, Governor. Thank you, Kentucky. And I hope everyone has a happy and blessed Thanksgiving.
We made a promise and we're going to keep it. We're going to keep showing up. We're not going anywhere. We are going to get the job done. All right. Last week, at our all-star moment, we honored the life of Lana Grandin, who I worked with while she served as an assistant attorney general in the AG's office, and then she joined the current administration. She passed away. Went to her visitation on Sunday and got to meet or see again her wonderful family. Today, we're announcing the Violence Against Women Act recipients in her honor, as this was one of the last projects that she had completed, and she had dedicated much of her professional life, her service in the AG's office and then in the administration, standing up for victims of violence and trying to provide them the very best support. She was always working to help others. That's what she did with her life. Today's announcement is also an important one to me because we are making progress on protecting victims of violent crime. And we're going to help more people feel safe in their communities. No one should experience a violent crime. And while there is a lot of work left to be done in my administration, we are doing everything we can day in and day out to make our communities safer and to make sure our people feel safer. We are going to hold offenders accountable, and we're going to provide resources to survivors when they're needed. So far, we've awarded more than $149 million to support victim service agencies, and approximately 323,000 Kentuckians have received those services. I signed legislation that requires the Commonwealth to produce an annual report on domestic violence-related data. And during this legislative session, we secured $7.1 million to go to our domestic violence shelters in Kentucky. Every year, Brittany has partnered with Zero V for the Shop and Share Drive. That makes sure that all those things that somebody may need who has to get up in the middle of the night, grab their kids and leave everything behind, that when they show up at one of those shelters, that they and those kids have what they'll need in those first days or those first weeks. And last year, I worked with Secretary of State Michael Adams in the legislature to establish the Safe at Home program. This program protects the home addresses of survivors of domestic violence from public record. We know how important it is to protect the information of domestic violence survivors. Here in Kentucky, we do not tolerate domestic violence. We don't tolerate any form of violence. And today, we're going to take additional steps to prevent it. I'm proud to award more than $2.1 million in grant funding to 30 organizations across Kentucky, including law enforcement, prosecutors, victim services, and state and local courts. A full list will be on the press release we send out at the end of the update. These groups will use this funding to protect and support victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking. Here with me today to an accept award in the amount of $62,720 is Amanda Corzine, Director of Safe Services with U of L Health, which will use the funding to provide support for a new hospital-based advocacy program and funding to hire a full-time domestic violence advocate position. Amanda, if you would join me to accept this check and provide a couple words. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Want to talk about the program?
I would love to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Governor. My name's Amanda, and I'm the Director of Safe Services at U of L. I lead a team of forensic nurses who serve sexual assault and domestic violence victims, Healthcare plays a critical role in connecting victims with resources at a time when they need it most. And while this is felt most acutely in the aftermath of a physical assault, the most common reason a domestic violence victim visits an emergency department is usually for a chronic health issue like back pain or migraines. Taking a few moments to ask all of our patients questions about domestic violence, not just those who've been assaulted, provides an opportunity to identify and support victims before things escalate to physical abuse. And while our hospitals are ready and available to serve the healthcare needs of victims, it can be challenging to ensure victims have what they need to stay safe when they leave our doors. That's why the funding provided by the Violence Against Women Act is so important. It allows us to provide one on one advocacy, safety planning, assistance in filing protective orders, and connecting victims with needed resources. The opportunity to do this while victims are already in a safe place receiving medical care is a creative approach to meeting the needs of victims where they are when they need it most. Tackling an epidemic like domestic violence takes new and untapped ideas to better serve victims. And without grant funding opportunities like VAWA, it's difficult for organizations to stretch into these new services. That's why U of L Health is grateful for the opportunity to expand our domestic violence resources and to help keep our patients and our communities safe. Thank you so much.
Make sure to take your check.
Thank you.
As with all grant dollars, these aren't given, they're earned. This is U of L Health going above and beyond of coming up with a really good idea how to meet people where they are and to ultimately provide additional safety and service to them. So to all of the grant winners, both congratulations and thank you. Thank you for always striving to do more, to help more, and to reach more people who should never have to go through something like domestic violence or the other forms of violence that VAWA is meant to ultimately stop, solve, but certainly to help those that are out there. Thank y'all. All right, next, an update on Cram the Cruiser. It's that time of year again when we come together to spread holiday cheer to our fellow Kentuckians by cramming the cruiser full of food so our neighbors, loved ones, and friends do not go hungry. Today, the Kentucky State Police is kicking off their annual statewide Cram the Cruiser food drive to help combat hunger in local communities. This initiative, hosted by all 16 KSP posts, aims to collect essential foods to brighten the holiday season for everyone, but especially those that need help the most. Starting today, November 21st through December 9th, troopers will be stationed at various grocery store and retail stores across the state ready to accept donations of non-perishable food items. Last year, KSP, with the help of Kentuckians from across the state, secured 162,047 pounds of food. That's 83 tons of food that was distributed to Kentucky families for their Christmas. Let's see if we can match or exceed that this year. We know far too many of our people go hungry and on Christmas, a day where we're supposed to remember that we're on this earth to love and care about each other. Let's make sure that there isn't a single hungry individual out there in our Commonwealth. I encourage every Kentuckian to join me and my family to Cram the Cruiser. Thank you to our state police who not only keep us safe day in and day out, but are working to meet the basic needs of our families. I have faith that we will come together like we've done time and time again with amazing generosity to make sure that those hungry kids that are out there or those hungry families that are out there have a good Christmas Eve, a good Christmas Day, and they have food on their table just like the rest of us do. So please join in and help out. All right, now, an update on the medical cannabis program. As I announced last week, the Office of Medical Cannabis has issued 29 licenses to cultivators, safety compliance facilities, and processors. And next week, we will hold the first dispensary license lottery. It'll be Monday, November 25th at 2 p.m. at the Kentucky Lottery Corporation in Louisville. That lottery will be for 9 of the 11 medical cannabis dispensary licensing regions. So 9 of the regions. The selectees for the 2 remaining regions will be drawn on December the 16th. Like our lottery a few weeks ago, the first dispensary lottery will be live streamed so Kentuckians can tune in, and so there's full transparency in the fairness of the process. But ultimately, medical cannabis is about healthcare. The purpose of this program is to help Kentuckians who are suffering, like our veterans suffering from PTSD. That's why in March of this year, my administration filed new regulations on how Kentucky patients will be able to apply for their medical cannabis cards on or after January 1st of 2025. Those regulations are now fully in effect. To be eligible, patients will first need to visit an authorized and registered medical cannabis practitioner to obtain written certification. Let's talk about how you do that. Since July 1st, and I think we have a slide on this, Kentucky licensed doctors and APRNs began applying to their licensing boards to become authorized medical cannabis practitioners. To date, if we'll go back, 154, that's it, doctors and APRNs have become authorized medical cannabis practitioners, and that number is growing steadily each week. So if we go to the next one, to help Kentuckians find who these authorized practitioners are and where they are, on December 1st, my administration is launching the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Practitioner Directory. So the directory of everyone who is authorized to see you about medical cannabis if you have one of these conditions, and to ultimately certify that will be online to where you can get on and search. The online directory will allow Kentucky patients to find the practitioner nearest to them, search within a specific city or county, or search by a specific specialty. This directory will be available on our website again on December the 1st, and that's at kymedcan.ky.gov, kymedcan.ky.gov. As the number of practitioners grow, the portal will be automatically updated to reflect the new authorized and registered practitioners. So, starting December 1st, if you believe that you will ultimately be qualified in this program, you can go online and find a practitioner who's been authorized through the state process. I'm also excited to announce that beginning December 1, those authorized medical cannabis practitioners will begin beginning December 1st, the authorized practitioners will be able to begin issuing valid written certifications to Kentucky patients. So on December 1st, not only can you go online and find where these practitioners are, but you can go ahead and go see them and have your written certification issued to them. So the next slide. To receive a written certification, patients will need to find an authorized practitioner. Again, you can do that December 1st online. You need to set up an initial appointment. You need to receive a diagnosis or a confirmation of a qualifying condition. And then you need to retrieve the written certification. And that's what you will use, that written certification, to apply for a medical cannabis card. All valid certifications must be entered by the authorized practitioner through the Office of Medical Cannabis's online portal at kymedcan.ky.gov. So a series of steps, and I'm going to talk in a minute about how we're going to have some webinars where individuals who want to be in the program, you can get online. We'll go over all this information in more detail. Please sign up for one of these webinar dates. Again, at kymedcan.ky.gov. We know that it's a lot. This is a brand new program about something that didn't exist before now, but a lot of thought and a whole lot of work has gone into setting it up. And we're going to continue to provide more information. So to recap, December the 1st is when we will have the portal up to where you can search for an authorized practitioner. Already over 154 of them. You can search by city, you can search by county, you can search by specialty in there. Starting December 1st, you can also go ahead and set up that appointment. Go in and see one of these authorized practitioners. And if you qualify, they can provide the certification that they upload to the Kentucky Office of Medical Cannabis. All of this is an attempt to have the program up and running as quickly as we can. These next two lotteries, first one on Monday and the second one in December, will establish which companies will be setting up the dispensaries, and then we'll be back about how you can find those dispensaries once they have a brick and mortar location. All right, and finally today, we have weather. We always have weather in Kentucky, but today we're actually receiving some snow accumulation. Can we put up a couple of the slides on winter weather? Folks, we are going to get some accumulation, some snow showers that are going to become more widespread late this evening. Some snow showers might be heavy. They're looking at a range from under to, in some places, maybe up to 2 inches. Remember, a road can get slick very quickly. Take your time. Getting somewhere safely is more important than getting somewhere quickly. Remember that you got loved ones that want to see you on Thanksgiving and on Christmas, during Hanukkah, during any of those amazing times that families get together. And just taking a little extra time protects you and protects the other drivers around you. The second slide, this forecast confidence is high. That's partially because we're already seeing it, but certainly it's going to intensify into the evening. This second slide just gives you in this region an idea that we're going to see some showers from 3 to 5 p.m. And then further south and east 6 to 9 p.m. But just expect that the snow is coming and make sure that you take your time wherever you are. You don't need to run to the grocery store and buy everything. I mean, it's just one snow shower that's coming, but do be extra careful out there. We've been through a lot. We don't want to lose anybody in a snow shower. And finally, with this being the first snow, our Team Kentucky All-Stars are all of the road crews that are going to be out there that are already salting so many of the roads, that are going to be cleaning up for us, trying to make sure that we can get to everywhere safely. Remember, they are there for your safety. You need to be there for their safety. Slow down when they're on the roads. Make sure you are careful and passing any and all of this equipment. During this administration, we have made safety one of the highest priorities within our transportation cabinet and throughout state government. Remember that if you're not doing everything that you can on the road, you make it less safe for some of our snow crews. All right, with that, we'll open it up to questions. A reminder, we will not have a Team Kentucky update the next 2 weeks. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you December the 12th. With that, we'll start with Tom Latek.
Thanks, Governor. You mentioned several more funding projects. Eastern Kentucky is recovering from the floods. Is the East Kentucky and West Kentucky state funds, either one of them, in danger of running out, so you may have to seek some more money from the General Assembly from January?
So the funds announced today are Community Development Block Grant Disaster Relief Funds. It's another big pot of money. If you remember, we announced about $300 million available for Eastern Kentucky. And then we had a separate pot of money we announced before that was available for Western Kentucky. And remember, we had some flooding in that same year in the East. Jackson got flooding in both times. The SAFE funds that help out the city and county have been fully depleted, I believe, in both of them. We're talking to the General Assembly about, they created multiple pots that could be used for multiple purposes. I don't think all the transportation money has been used. I don't think all of the education money has been used, but it's being used at a faster and a faster rate. So we may, working with the General Assembly, move some of it around, but certainly want to use all of it on that rebuilding effort. Carolina.
Governor, winter weather has obviously arrived, and in Kentucky, we typically experience like a few bad storms a year. Has the state taken steps to prepare for this winter season? And so are we sure that we can handle everything from power to roads?
Yeah, we are ready for winter weather, though it seems every year that Mother Nature throws something new at us. We've had not only some snowfalls these last couple of years, we've also had multiple polar plunges where it has gotten dangerously cold. We feel good about the state of our utilities, about how even during the toughest of times where some of our utilities hit the largest peak demand they've ever had, they still withstood it and ensured that everyone was safe. Our road crews are ready. The salt is there. We do not want to underestimate Mother Nature, but I feel good that we have been through a lot and we've learned from it and we're ready.
And I have one
Sure.
more. We've had a few more bomb threats
Yeah.
reported to schools around different areas of Kentucky. These seem to happen every so often. Is there anything that the state can do to beef up resources to crack down on this stuff?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have folks out there that like scaring our people. Calling in a bomb threat to a school is just about the lowest thing that you can do. And so, what we've been working on, both through our Homeland Security Office and through law enforcement, is to always err on the side of safety, but to have enough information about the credibility of a threat to lessen the amount of disruption. Our kids shouldn't have to file out of school every day because of a bomb threat that's coming in. We take everyone seriously. Our K-9 unit from the Kentucky State Police has been very busy today, making sure that our kids are protected. Ultimately, these threats can come in from anywhere around the country or around the world, which can make it challenging, but we stand ready to investigate and prosecute any and all these. People need to knock it off. These are our kids trying to learn, and it doesn't make you any bigger of a person. It makes you a much smaller person to disrupt that kind of learning or operations. Our people shouldn't have to live in fear, and we're going to do everything we can, both to stop the people who are doing this, but also to have the right intelligence and practices where we can have the least amount of disruption. In fact, just yesterday, we had our first convening of houses of worship and providing different best practices to them. If you remember, a number of synagogues had bomb threats emailed to them not long ago. That was right before we started the anti-Semitism task force. So what that information sharing is doing is going to be helpful, but there are also grants out there that churches and others can apply for, and we want to make sure that they know about that. Everybody deserves to be safe all day long, every day, and we're going to keep working to make that happen. Mark?
Previously, there were concerns expressed about the short window to grow and create products for medical cannabis patients. Can you give us an update on any efforts to help facilitate the availability of cannabis products for those patients, and any updates on what you're hearing from the industry along those lines?
Yeah, I'll give just a little, and I'll turn it over to Sam Flynn, who's done a great job of putting this together. Certainly today, what you heard is our attempt to get people ready even before January 1, so that whenever product is on the shelf, that everyone will have done what they have to do to be eligible. So with more than a month before the program can even begin, knowing what doctor or nurse to go to, knowing where they are, knowing the process, being able to get on the webinar and learn everything that you need to for the program, and then getting that certification already done and uploaded so that we can work to get that medical cannabis card out to you. As you can tell, there's a whole lot of pieces that have to come together, from the practitioner to getting certified, to the patient finding that practitioner, to the appointment where they get that certification, to it coming and getting the card issued. That's just on the patient side. Now that we have the cultivators and the processors, they have to meet certain requirements before they can start operations, because we promised that we would do this safe and we would do it right. That process is ongoing. That next piece is the dispensaries. But when you look at what it takes all through the process, we hope it comes as quickly as it can, but it's got to be safe. It's got to be medical, as we promised, and I have confidence that we are achieving those goals. Sam?
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for your leadership on this program. The question was related to the new facilities that are going to be coming online, whether they're processors or cultivators, safety compliance facilities, and then ultimately dispensaries, and when we can expect those facilities to start. receiving their initial medical cannabis to begin their startup production, cultivation, and then move through the process. We have reached out to every single licensee. So we have about 30 now. We've reached out to every single one of them, and we are working with them on all of the regulatory requirements that they're going to need to meet. Again, we want to make sure that this is safe and secure in our communities, as the governor mentioned. That includes a number of things that they're going to have to ensure at their facilities. So we have stringent requirements on security, locking mechanisms. Many of these facilities are existing facilities and they are retrofitting those. Some of these facilities will be new facilities and they'll need to be built out. Some of the facilities are also looking at changing locations, which is permissible for the cultivators and the processors. And so we're going to help them through that process. We met with the housing, buildings and construction folks at PPC yesterday because one of the parts of this process is making sure that our processors are creating GMP permitted products. And so they have certain requirements. We're going to be working with the Department for Public Health on meeting those requirements and also the folks at PPC for the pieces related to plumbing, et cetera, on these facilities. So as the governor mentioned, a lot of things have to fall into place, and we're gonna walk these new licensees through that process and ultimately get medical cannabis on the shelves for our patients at the soonest possible date. So we will have a fairly good understanding of when that is, when these facilities inform us that they're ready to be inspected. Each facility has to be inspected before they can become operational and receive cannabis products or can begin cultivating cannabis. And so we'll know in advance of that time when they're getting ready to operate. They have to notify us 30 days in advance. We will go inspect them. And if they pass that inspection, we will allow them to begin their operations process. All right. Thank you, Governor.
And we'll continue to provide updates about when those thresholds are met, just like we were doing today, so that people have a real-time idea of when they're going to be able to go to that dispensary. Yes, and I'm going to keep the executive order that I have right now in place for anybody who is using it until operations are up and going. Then I will rescind it because I asked the General Assembly to step in and to do this, and that was what I agreed to do, and I'm going to keep my word on that. All right, we got everybody in studio. Then we've got Karen Czar on the line.
Good afternoon, Governor. Thank you. We did a story yesterday with the League of Women Voters, and several of them are asking for more transparency and more time as bills move through Frankfurt. How do you address their concerns? And then also for next week, what are you most thankful for as we head into Thanksgiving? Thank you.
Well, the League of Women Voters are 100% right, and they're 100% right to be concerned. In recent years, there has been less and less and less transparency, and in fact, more secrecy in the way that bills move through the process. Those are just facts. There used to be pre-filed bills, so people could know what could come up during the session. Those got eliminated. You used to know significantly in advance when a bill would be heard. The use of shell bills seems to increase. Bills that are filed with just one word or two words, and then overnight they're transformed. The use of committee substitutes that may change every single word of legislation is used. You know, if you're doing the right thing, you can be transparent about it. You can let people know what's going on. And government is supposed to be open to input of the citizens that they serve. So my hope is that the General Assembly will look at these suggestions and will take as many of them as possible. You know, a government that works best works directly with their citizens. And I am thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for this job, but I will always be most thankful for my family, for Brittany, for Will and Lila, and even Winnie, even though I'm her least favorite. But to have the family that I do, I am more blessed than I deserve, and I'm thankful for that every single day. And I've lost some members of my extended family in the last couple of years, so I'm really thankful that at Thanksgiving we're all going to get together. We're going to remember those we've lost, and we're going to spend some really special time together, and I hope everybody else has that opportunity too. All right, Isaiah Kim Martinez.
Hi, Governor. Two questions here. One, do you support the unionization effort at the Blue Oval SK plant with UAW? And two, any updates on the investigation into some of those health concerns like mold on site?
We can get you information on the on-site inspections. I believe they've all come back okay, or some issues that are being worked through. But I don't think we have found any issues that would endanger the health of the workers. I am a pro-union governor. I always will be. What my hope is that the companies that are involved will stay neutral and let this be a true decision of the employees. And finally, Austin Horn.
Hey, thank you, Governor. I've got another Blue Oval SK question. With the recent announcement of their unionization effort, I spoke with some people on the UAW side and workers who said they were confused earlier this year when you said the plant would start out non-union as an agreement between UAW and Ford. And I was wondering, did you misspeak then, or what exactly was the nature of that agreement? If
No,
you could add some clarity.
It did start out non-union. It's not unionized at the moment, and they have 750 employees. What I was talking about was when the negotiation happened with Ford and the UAW that the battery plants weren't included, that there wasn't a decision to automatically do a unionization of the workers. That doesn't prevent the normal process, which is going on here, which went on in the plant in Tennessee. And that's what we're seeing, just the normal process of potential unionization occurring. But the jobs did not start as union. That wasn't a result of that ultimate collective bargaining agreement. And it wasn't just me that made that statement. There were multiple news organizations about 6 months before when that collective bargaining agreement came out that reported the same. To everybody, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have an amazing time. Be careful with the snow out there. I don't think there's going to be enough for snowmen, but unfortunately there's enough to make our roads slick. Take care of each other. Remember, life's short. Our job is to do good things and be kind to each other. We'll see you December 12th.